Alright, so last time I did this type of video was months ago on Gintama's main villains, and I thought it was pretty fun and easy to make. So I decided to take a look at another villain cast that I really love, and just give him my thoughts and opinions on each of their characters. I'll probably just do all the real main villains and no side antagonists. This is also my first Hunter x Hunter video, so I hope you enjoy this new kind of anime on the channel. Pretty sure most of you have already watched it though, so there's no trouble spoiling in this video. Anyways, there might be one questionable take on a character that is highly loved in this video, so get ready for that, Hunter x Hunter Tods. You might hate this. So hopefully you enjoy this video, and without further ado, let's just get right into it. So the first main villain we come across and are first introduced to us is none other than the magician himself, Hisoka Moro. Now Hisoka really struck me first as a cool and mysterious character. Through his tricks we learned that he's a powerful individual who isn't like the other hunters we see in the exams. Even if he's bloodlusted and moved by the want of fighting, he didn't really let himself get torn by the act of letting his guard down when he's in that mood. Obviously except when Gon used his fishing rod on him, but that's only an exception. Hisoka's way of maneuvering through the hunter exams was probably what made us all afraid of his skills, and actually really worried for our main characters on how they're supposed to go up against a person like this, because obviously this clown is a villain. Hisoka was just a pretty scary guy in early Hunter x Hunter. We didn't really know what his abilities were or what his motives are. His talk with Kurapika at the end of their one-on-one only interested me more on what he's up to. If he's a villain, shouldn't he be trying to tear down our main characters? Why is he helping one of them out by telling them where the Phantom Troop is going to be? This is probably when I came to realize that Hisoka is more of a thrill seeker. He doesn't care what our main protagonist's goals are like, nor does he care about stopping him from completing them. He just fights and fights for the thrills of it. And that I can say is what made him entertaining and unique as a villain for me. His personality is scary and creepy, but for some reason, that makes him entertaining as a character. Hunter x Hunter wouldn't be Hunter x Hunter without Hisoka, which maybe sounds stupid, but it is what it is. Hisoka's character is a great fit for a character in this anime. Hunters are people who are free. They have access to almost everything in the world and aren't limited to things like people without the license. Hisoka wants to cherish this freedom and use it as his own disposal for the many things he desperately wants to do. Fighting, messing around with people, and doing all sorts of weird things is what entertains both Hisoka and us, the audience. He does whatever he wants, whenever he wants, just like the ideal hunter. He's a great example of a hunter, excluding Jing of course, and I think he was really handled well with interacting with Gon in the story. Minus all of the creepy moments, man, I want to forget those. In general, I love Hisoka. He's a great character and one of my top favorite villains in Hunter x Hunter, and of all time of course. Next villain I want to talk about is Chrollo Lucifer. Chrollo. Okay. Chrollo is an interesting character. He has a lot of depth surrounding him, and it's fun to look into how his character is structured. People go into his religious symbolism that he has, and that's all cool, but in general I really don't care about his character all too much. Obviously it's a personal thing, and the impact that he had on me was really nothing monumental, but I can say he's a great structured character, just not the type for me. His relationship with the Phantom Troop though is something that I really loved in the York New City arc. Seeing a villain group actually care for one another was something I hadn't really seen all too much back when I first watched this arc. So when seeing his interaction with the troop, and as well as seeing his reaction to Uvigen's death, it definitely hit the right spots for me. It was something real and unique for a villain group. His identity crisis was something that only kind of interested me as well, but I don't remember it being all too much of an impact for me also. But probably a rewatch or read through will help with that. Honestly, the mystery surrounding his character holds him up from being a lower tier character for me as well. Even though he wasn't all that, I'm hoping for when Togashi gets better and gets back on the Hunter x Hunter grind that Chrollo becomes a great character for me. I can say he does have potential. If Togashi explores his character a lot more, it would be much better. He doesn't even need to go into an extended backstory for him, but more so an interesting exploration of Chrollo's character, which would finally make me hold him up as high as some other people do. The way he moves around through the story and the concept that he has built up surrounding his character definitely serves as the potential he has to be bigger and more grand for the future of Hunter x Hunter. So I'm hoping and looking forward to that. Praying of course, cause man, I hope Togashi gets better. Next is, well, who is this guy again? Wait, let me just search him up. Genthru? Oh, Genthru. Oh yeah, I have to talk about the most generic and boring Hunter x Hunter villain, Genthru. Why? Well, I said I was doing the main villains, and technically he was the main villain of Greed Island, so I guess this might very well be the shortest segment of the video. Look, Genthru is just nothing for me, to be honest. He doesn't hit any right spots and just doesn't leave a lasting effect for me. Even if Chrollo didn't leave much of an impact for me, he was at least a very intriguing character and also complex, which deserves B tier. Genthru, on the other hand, is just basically irrelevant. The only good thing that I got from him was his fight with Gon, which I can say is top 5. It was really fire and enjoyable, but even then, Gon carried that fight hard. Other than that, he's just an extremely bland character that just makes me wonder if someone like Togashi really wrote him. He feels like he was written by Oda. Nah, jokes. Nah, actually, why did I have to talk about such a terrible character before talking about my favorite Hunter x Hunter character next? So anyways, let's forget about Genthru and move on to my favorite Hunter x Hunter villain. Meruem, King of Ants, my favorite Hunter x Hunter character and villain. Meruem is just so good. Like, I can't even put into words on how much I love his character. His character journey, interactions with the many different characters of the arc, and of course his conclusion is all executed beautifully by Togashi, only strengthening his villain cast much more. My favorite thing about Meruem is probably his character journey. From his birth, we see him as the most evilest thing in the world, and to his death, we see him as the most calmest thing in the world. At first, we hate him, we despise him for the creature that he is, as he's able to even kill a child with no reaction or reason. But it's kind of understandable for what he is, the Chimera Ant King who was also made from thousands of humans that were sacrificed for his creation. From knowing this himself, he believes that he truly is the king, as that many people had their lives taken away from them just to create Meruem. Meruem serves the role as the king whilst learning knowledge of the world itself. Through learning more things about the world, one of the things that he comes across is Gungi, a game that he himself thought that he would be the best at, as he had won every other tactical game he had tried. From this, he runs into Komugi, the only person who had beaten him at a board game. These two literally have such a great dynamic that strengthens Meruem's character. It strengthens him enough to eventually change him. This change would result in him building up a new motive, expanding to his already compelling character, and making it so much more. I love how Meruem's development is dealt with and how he interacts with everyone else past that said development. Like Netero, their fight was amazing, yet the dialogue before the fight just makes it way better. In general, Meruem's great, from his dynamics, parallels with Gon, development, and obviously the grand fight between him and Netero, showing humanity's true malice, with Netero declaring humans are far more evil than the ants. Just greatness. The arc is just greatness. Now the last villain I want to talk about is Pariston Hill. I'm pretty sure he had the shortest screen time out of the main villains, yet he was still able to give me a better lasting impact than Chrollo, and he was easily a better villain than Genthru. Anyways, Pariston is another amazing villain for Hunter x Hunter and one of my favorite characters overall. I would just say he's just below Hisoka as my favorite Hunter x Hunter antagonist for me. Pariston is just my type of character, to be honest. From his manipulative personality and secretive motives, Pariston serves as a great foil to everyone in the election arc. Not gonna lie, his nature is also an interesting thing about him as well. It's pretty fleshed out in my opinion and adds greatly upon his character. Pariston is someone who doesn't feel happiness from the normal things that usually make people happy, like how people are loved, that makes them happy. But for Pariston, when he is hated, that's when he feels happiness. He loves this quite a lot, and when he loves things, he tends to want to tear them apart and do unimaginable things to them. His unpredictable and abnormal mindset and actions just makes him so unique and fresh, as well as him basically being the most normal looking Hunter x Hunter villain as well. You can tell he's a grounded character who doesn't need to blow things up but uses his mind and manipulates people around him, which is the type of character I usually love as well. He's also a person who hasn't truly hated anyone yet wants to be hated. He also wonders what he would do if he ever truly starts to hate someone. Pariston isn't all entirely different from the normal person though. He still has some normal emotions, as he had cried over Genthru's death and had a friendship with him as well, which I wonder how Genthru had to put up with a guy like this. Pariston overall is a really great character. He just likes to play around and enjoys when his victims resent him. It's a weird act, but entertaining and unique, which I personally love watching and reading through. Pariston is crazy, I love it. So that's what I'm gonna end off for today. Hopefully you did enjoy. I can't really speak on the main villain of Succession War too much since I haven't really read all too much about him at the moment, but one day I'll get through that arc. Comment down some more theories with villains I can give my thoughts on for another video. Now, like always, subscribe if you haven't, hit the like button, turn on bell notifications, and follow my Twitter down below. It's been Endless Requiem, peace.